Right now, we want to bring in meteorologist Chris Mulcahy talking about this Memorial Day weather. A lot of people, Chris, do have the long weekend and want to take advantage of it, but it's gray out.
Yeah, pretty much take yesterday and add rain chances and make it cooler, and that's what we have today. I literally, at 5 o'clock for my one thing, I just said, I'm sorry, because it's not a good forecast. Like maybe putting an American flag on a grave or grilling out. There's on and off rain chances throughout the day, which is not wonderful. However, I'm always a man that likes to put things in perspective. We could be in Texas dealing with widespread severe weather and torrential downpours. So let's go to the graphics.
Yep.
Looking off towards the west, you have a few train tracks, as I like to call them. These are just quasi-stationary fronts that are barely moving, and a lot of times weather is going to glide along it. Now, anything along the bottom one is going to have a chance for a widespread severe weather event, and that's why there's a low chance for severe weather along those lines, and a medium threat pretty much from San Antonio up through Dallas, where I've already seen multiple severe thunderstorm warnings associated with that. Meanwhile, a little bit closer to home, it's just a generic light to moderate rain that's scattered across the area, but sunshine will be lacking today. Yesterday, you had a brighter cloudy sky. I think you might see that, and it looks like it's just going to be kind of luck of the draw. So let me rewind it real quick here. So for your future cast, we have that light rain, and I think a lot of it's going to dissipate. If you're watching from the mountains around the I-40 corridor, you have a better chance for rain longer today, but I think if we're going to have a lull, it's going to be right around lunchtime. So a drier lunch, that's good, a good situation. But one thing that I'm starting to see is a change. After 2, another surge of rain starts to roll in. I think the heaviest rain that we see is going to be south of I-85 and primarily in the South Carolina upstate. And it's at that point you're starting to see those yellows return, slightest chance for a rumble of thunder because we do have enough moisture for that to happen. And then heading into the evening, things start to dry out a little bit. But that's not great because look at 4 or 5. I'll rewind. At this point, there's a lot of grills trying to grill things out.
Oh, yeah.
That's a terrible forecast. Again, that's why I said sorry. And maybe you want to have somebody on umbrella duty because it quickly can cool a charcoal grill down with these rain intensities. There was a little bit more optimism in some models, and I can show you that coming up as well, showing that, hey, okay, maybe we do see a break. The best case scenario is that this band of rain does have a lot of dry slots, a lot of breaks, so you will still have some opportunities. So today is, I think, a day that you really, if you have a radar app, WCNC Charlotte is a great one, by the way, that you'll be able to monitor where the showers are going to be. But I would really say it's right around lunchtime, early to mid-afternoon's best chance to stay dry, and then we have more widespread rain that starts to roll in, and then after that, we're getting ready for a real wet one. So here is your forecast going forward. We're reporting this right at 10:14 here on our stream. I think you have isolated showers starting to kind of wind down over the next hour, and there's still an isolated chance, but a lot of us are going to have a little bit of a lull from the activity to start off the afternoon. Temperature-wise, I think we already hit our high temperature for the day. That was around 69. And more rain is looking now more likely mid to late afternoon as that band rolls in, but then it becomes isolated once again. So let's roll tape to our next big band of rain. Tomorrow morning, rain jacket type of scenario, you wouldn't be ridiculous to wear rain boots because we're not just talking about a couple hours. I'm talking about 6 to 12 hours of a light to moderate rainfall. At times, it could be heavy. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, so I think it's a really wet, rocking and rolling start to your morning commute as a lot of people are heading back to work. There's 10 o'clock. You're still seeing widespread green. The only thing that could break this up is if some dry air gets into it, so then it would end by about that 10 to noon time frame. But I really don't think it's until about noon to about 3 that we start to see a break in the action. Some lighter rain, kind of like what we're dealing with right now, rolls in the backside, and then we just have a few pulses that will be possible Wednesday morning and again on Wednesday afternoon. So how much rain could we see through all this? Today, measly, puny. Less than 1/10 of an inch, I think, for most of us. Some of us could see up to about 1/4 inch from that secondary band later this afternoon. But notice what happens tomorrow. 1 to 2 inches of rain, I think, could fall from your Tuesday morning to Wednesday morning. And there's a lot of numbers here on the screen, but just focus kind of on the purple. Purple represents about upwards to about 2 inches of rain. So I think it's going to be that 1.5 to 2 for the upper threshold. Some areas that deal with yellows for longer could be at 2+. And then you'll have one more spat of rain potentially on Wednesday morning and again on Wednesday afternoon. So when does it feel like? Temperature-wise, I'm going to let you know it's a shock and awe to the system. Today we're in the 60s. It's wet 60s. So even the mid-afternoon being at 66 actually feels more like late March to the early April time frame. Tomorrow I have a high of 61 degrees, and we'll explain why. That feels like March 6th. It's May. Yeah. It's not going to be great. Now, we're at the point that, hey, we're only abnormally dry, so we need the rain. Rain is great. Rain in the 60s and 50s is not, especially for this time of year. But then we're back to May status after that. So we actually might have a chance of tying a record tomorrow. There's not only the high temperature record or the coldest low for a day, there's also the coldest high and the warmest low. So the coldest high we've ever had on May 27th, 60 degrees. Back in 1901, as we all remember that wonderful year. And 61 degrees is my high for tomorrow. And that's actually what I have right around midnight. So this is a chance we're tying it, or if we're stuck at 59, yeah, you're ranging at like 56 to 60 degrees all day tomorrow. So I just want people to know how kind of miserably damp and cold it's going to be. And it's all because of cold air damming, the dam. This is because winds out of the northeast, and whenever you have moisture that's coming from the south and all that rain-cooled air, it just backs and sits against the mountains. It can't go anywhere. This is also known as a wedge, and it's just stuck in place. So when you have a low deck of clouds, there's no chance that sunshine's going to warm us up. So you're kind of stuck stagnant at that temperature. This is awful during the wintertime because it can often change rain over to snow. It can lead to more icing events. For us, it's just kind of a miserable Tuesday, especially if you've had a long weekend, you have to go back to work in it. So that is going to be the case and scenario, and that's why it's going to be so cold. But once that breaks, and I think that happens on Wednesday morning, we'll see the sun return, temperatures get a little bit warmer, and then we could see another dip in the temperatures for a rain chance on Friday. But then my pick of the week, this coming Sunday, I have the mid-80s, and that is coincidentally the 1st of June. So we're well above normal for May, but now we're going to see the opposite direction, especially as we visit more April and March-like temperatures over the next couple of days.
Well, and I'm sure we'll make up for it in the summer, so
Yes.
we should enjoy these cooler than normal temps.
Jane, do you know what? That is a perfect outlook, because there will be a time when it's 98 degrees and you're like, man, really missed that cold air damming and 61 degrees and wetness. So no, you're absolutely right.
All right. Well, we know it's not your fault that today is today.
I'm sorry.
But
So sorry.
we'll survive.
Yes, we will.
We will survive.
That would be like a great song. First, I was afraid I was petrified.
Yeah. All right, Chris Mulcahy, of course, always a pleasure having him into the Live Impact studio on this